Welcome to the Horror Unmasked podcast,
where we unmask the monsters
and explore the lore.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Lily, and today we'll be dissecting
Violent Night.
Let's kick some anus.
It's Christmas Eve in England, and a man dressed as Santa Claus is getting very drunk by himself at the bar.
That's sad.
Yes, it is. Another man dressed as Santa Claus comes in and asks the first Santa if he's just getting off his shift. The first Santa tells the second that he's between shifts and opens up, saying he doesn't really remember why he started working as Santa in the first place. He says most kids are greedy and constantly demand for more, and then states that this is the last year. The last Christmas.
Aw.
I know, right?
The first Santa gives the bartender a gift for her grandson and then heads to the roof. The bartender follows him, but when she arrives, he's gone. When she looks up, Santa is flying in the sky with his sleigh and reindeers, and she is dumbfounded. All of a sudden, Santa barfs out of the sleigh and it lands directly onto the bartender's face.
Abso-fucking-lutely disgusting.
Nasty. This grody.
So gross.
I would vomit.
It was a
just
magical
because of
moment
that.
and then just oof.
Yeah, I don't like it when movies put in barf, but that's okay.
We are now in Connecticut, where a man, Jason, gets picked up by his wife, Linda, and daughter, Trudy. The family is off to Grandma's house, and it becomes clear that the couple is separated. When they finally arrive at Grandma's house, she is obviously very wealthy, with a very large house that is decorated beautifully, along with a full staff of maids, servants, and a catering company. I know, right?
I want that life.
They were all effing shifty the second you saw them. You were like, ah, yes, you are shifty.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Well, maybe not. I don't want that life because I don't want to have people working for me on Christmas. Like, go home. Go be with your family.
I know, but she's rich and selfish.
Yeah. Anyway, later that night, the rest of the family, including Jason's sister, Alva, her boyfriend, Morgan, and Jason's nephew, Bert.
The most annoying fucking character. That whole family's annoying.
The whole...
But they're just all fucking annoying.
Yeah. They gather in the living room and wait for Grandma. Jason's sister immediately insults Linda about her weight and then tells Jason that she thinks this is the year their mom is going to choose one of them to take over her business and that she's gunning for him. When his sister walks away, Jason begins to catch Linda up on the family drama, telling her that Alva just paid off Bert's school for a sexual assault allegation against him. Disgusting.
Abso-fucking-lutely disgusting. How dare.
Right. And that her boyfriend, Morgan, is trying to get their mom to fund a film for him.
When Grandma Gertrude is done with a phone call, she finally comes into the living room where the family tensions are high, and Alva and Morgan are waiting to grovel. Jason, who usually is the groveler, is holding back this year, and the whole family is surprised as the family goes off to eat dinner. We see a montage of Santa being very Grinch-like while delivering presents. It is almost time for Trudy to go to bed after making very special cookies for Santa. She then realizes that her dad never took her to see Santa at the mall, and is worried he won't know what she wants this year.
Jason tells Trudy to put her PJs on, while he runs to the game room and finds a walkie-talkie to give to her. Jason tells Trudy that the walkie is a special way to communicate with Santa, to tell him everything that she wants. Jason and Linda finish tucking Trudy in and listen at the door for what she wants from Santa. While they're listening, they overhear Trudy say the only thing she really wants for Christmas is for her parents to make up so that they can finally be a family again.
Fucking heartbreaking.
That is so sad. And then they're just sitting at the door like, looking at each other, like in awkwardness.
Because they're not divorced.
No, they're just separated.
They're just separated.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
And it's very obvious that that is reasons because of the family.
Exactly. Santa has landed on the roof of Grandma Gertrude's house and magically travels down the chimney into the room with the milk and cookies. While Santa eats his cookies, he finds some alcohol and a massage chair and begins to relax. We then
I want that life.
I know, right? He had some like gourmet ass cookies and just a nice drink and just in that.
Imagine just sitting in that chair.
So nice. So nice.
Yeah.
We then see a security guard checking the cameras when one of the cater waiters
That's a mouthful.
comes in and knocks him out. Suddenly, all of the catering company gets a flash of their watches and starts to prepare for a takeover, grabbing guns and cutting the Wi-Fi.
That's crazy since your Wi-Fi just went out.
I know my Wi-Fi literally just went out as we were trying to read this.
Ooh, spooky.
Swear to God.
A new man shows up at the security gate, claiming his car broke down the street, then shoots the security guard and opens the gate himself. All of the attackers start to gather together and start to take out all of the security guards. While all of this happens, Jason talks to Linda about giving Trudy her Christmas wish, getting out from under his mother's thumb, and being together again. The rest of the family tries to get into the panic room but are stopped by the man from the gate, who's calling himself Mr. Scrooge. Because he's so scary.
All right.
Sit down. Shut up. People have so many problems. Like,
I know.
stop complaining. Sorry.
Santa hears all of the commotion and sneaks through the house, trying to hide. Jason and Linda try to grab Trudy and leave, but are stopped by one of the intruders. Santa tries to escape back through the chimney, but his magic has stopped working. He looks out the window to find a sharp icicle at the bottom. Unable to get away, he hides behind the Christmas tree. One of the intruders comes in and attacks Santa. While they fight, the reindeers fly away, leaving Santa no way to escape. Santa manages to push the intruder out the window, falling out with him. When Santa gets up, the intruder is an ice kebab, having landed on the icicle to his death. Tough shit.
You tried to attack Santa.
I know, right?
Like, what do you want? Santa grabs his sack and tries to leave, but when he looks through the window of the living room, he sees the entire family being held hostage and decides to stay and help. While the family sits in the living room, Mr. Scrooge talks about how he knows every secret detail about Gertrude's extraction team and his plan to take $300 million from Gertrude that she stole from an oil deal. While trying to get into the vault, Scrooge gets a message about the ice kebab guy and goes to check it out. Back in the living room, Trudy tries to use the walkie-talkie to contact Santa again.
Santa goes into the game room and tries to search his toy bag for weapons. When one of the intruders comes in, Santa sneak attacks him and they begin to fight, which gets very gruesome when Santa stabs a star from the tree into his eyeball and then electrocutes him in the face, setting him on fire, finally killing him.
That's my Santa.
That's my Santa.
That's my Santa.
That's my Santa. Facts. Santa takes the walkie-talkie off of the dead guy and swaps channels, finding the one Trudy is trying to contact him from. Trudy tells Santa that she's been good this year and asks him to help her. Santa checks his naughty and nice list to find Trudy has been especially good this year. He tells Trudy that all of the bad guys are on his naughty list and that he'll help her get out. Trudy says she has an idea.
Scrooge checks the security cameras to find Santa wandering around, thinking he's another security guard undercover. Clearly following Trudy's instructions, Santa goes to the security gate, only to find the guard dead. He then swaps channels and begins to talk to Scrooge about how he killed one of his men and that he wants him to let the family go. Scrooge doesn't give in and threatens Santa instead. When the conversation is done, Santa finds that he's bleeding really badly, while Scrooge asks Gertrude who she hired to play Santa, then threatens to torture the entire family until they spill
Scrooge goes
their
to put
guts until they spill their guts. What?
Dork. Scrooge goes to put Jason's nuts in the nutcracker.
That's so... How...
You know?
That's so inventive. So inventive.
When Trudy speaks up, saying Santa will get mad if he continues to hurt her daddy. She then tells the whole room that she's been in contact with Santa and that he's coming for all of the intruders. When Jason pipes in to tell her that Santa isn't real, Trudy runs away and one of the intruders, Candy Cane, runs after her.
It's just a code name.
I know, right?
Pretty sick.
Santa is back inside, stitching himself up, looking badass with his shirt off and his tattoos.
That's my Santa.
Hell yeah, those Nordic tattoos are dope.
Yes.
From the blood loss and the pain, Santa passes out, and we see a flashback to Santa as a Viking warrior. He then wakes up due to Trudy calling him from the walkie-talkie.
Trudy tells Santa that she's hiding in the attic and will set up booby traps in case anyone might find her. She then asks Santa if he's really real, and they have a deep conversation about Christmas magic, Trudy's past Christmas presents that Santa gave her, and Trudy's parents getting back together. Back in the living room, one of the intruders, Krampus, tells the family to open their gifts to one another. Gertrude opens Jason's present, which causes some tension between the two of them after she reads his card. Trudy and Santa are still chatting it up, and we learn that Santa used to be called Nickaman the Red when he was a warrior with his hammer called Skull Crusher. That's my Santa.
Hell yeah.
Santa used to be greedy and mean, but Trudy says that all of the bad he used to do can be used for good, and that's why she still believes.
So fucking pure.
I know.
God damn.
She's not greedy, bro.
Nope.
Is all that stuff you were saying at the beginning?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Back at the vault, Scrooge says the extraction team will be at the house in half an hour, where we then see them getting ready to come. Santa tries to sneak up on Candy Cane, but is caught when he sets off a Santa animatronic.
Traitor.
I know, right? He runs into one of the rooms when Scrooge and another intruder, Gingerbread, these names.
Yeah.
Gingerbread throws a fire extinguisher in front of the door and shoots at it, causing an explosion. When they get inside, Santa is unconscious, so they tie him up to a chair with Christmas lights. The room that they're in is right under the attic where Trudy is hiding.
The intruders start going through Santa's bag and find that the presents are never ending. Santa wakes up and the group tries to question him. When they see it's going nowhere, they toss the bag of gifts into the fire, destroying it and so many kids' dreams.
Oh, this hurt both of us.
We had to take a second.
We had to take a moment.
Because he threw it and we went, whoa. You did not.
Because it was him screaming,
that was
kids' dreams
in there. Yeah, like it hurt my soul. It
was painful.
It was. Scrooge says that Christmas is bullshit and that his father tried to always make the most of it until one year his dad was laid off and they had nothing that year for Christmas. Scrooge, trying to still be in the Christmas spirit, tried to steal some of his neighbor's decorations in the middle of the night, but ended up scaring his father into falling down the stairs, breaking his neck, and killing him. Santa apologizes to Scrooge, calling him by his real name, Jimmy, and telling him that he doesn't get involved with people's lives. He's only there to give them presents.
Santa then reveals the names of the other two intruders and shares personal details of their childhood. When Scrooge pulls out a gun and threatens to shoot unless Santa reveals his true identity. Right before he pulls the trigger, it starts to snow inside, and the group wonders if he's telling the truth. However, upstairs in the attic, Trudy is pouring small bits of styrofoam into the vents. Scrooge figures it out, but it's too late. Santa breaks the chair he's tied up in and uses his magic to escape through the chimney.
The extraction team has finally arrived on a bunch of snowmobiles. When they pull up, Morgan jumps out of the living room window and tries to escape, but runs into the extraction team, who end up shooting and killing him. Santa sees this from the roof and checks the naughty list to see that the entire extraction team has been added along with the other intruders. Scrooge warns the leader of the extraction team, Thorpe, about the dangerous man running around dressed like Santa. The team spots him on the roof and begin to shoot at him, causing him to fall. The people working on opening the vault finally succeed, only to find that all of the money inside is gone. Tough.
Trudy looks out the attic window to see Santa limping to the big shed outside. Trudy contacts him on the walkie to tell him not to give up. Santa thinks about Mrs. Claus, longing to see her again. When he drops his ring, it rolls across the room and lands next to a giant hammer. The men are right outside the shed, about to burst in when Santa ties his hair back, grabs the hammer, and starts to swing it around. That's my Santa. Fuck shit up. The men come in to find the room empty when Santa comes out and smashes them all.
Scrooge comes back into the living room, threatening to shoot the entire family unless they tell him where all of the money went. Thorpe then reveals to Gertrude that he has turned on her. Womp womp.
I know, right?
Back in the shed, Santa takes out the intruders one by one in the most gnarly ways, stabbing, gutting, and beheading them with candy canes, roller skates, and wood chippers.
Hell yeah. Some gnarly ass shit.
Yep. Santa finally watches as he blows up the last guy. In the living room, Scrooge threatens to shoot Linda unless someone tells him where the money went. Finally, Jason comes forward and reveals that he stole the money and was planning to run away with his wife and daughter and never return. Jason tells the family that he has done enough groveling, which ended up destroying his own family.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Gingerbread and Candy Cane have found Trudy and her booby traps. Trudy tells Santa that they found her and comes to rescue her. Gingerbread goes to climb the steps, but one of them busts and he falls onto one step with a nail, impaling him under the chin and through his mouth.
Disgusting.
Which was so gross.
Yeah.
So gross. Candy Cane goes up the ladder next when Trudy releases bowling balls at her, but some of them fall out of the attic and land on Gingerbread, causing him to fall back and land on multiple spikes. Gingerbread pulls one spike out of his butt to look at it, but another bowling ball falls and pushes the nail into his head, killing him.
I mean, after getting impaled in the, basically in the mouth, from under the chin, I would want to die immediately. I would think I'm dead.
See, Trudy's inspiration was Home Alone.
Yeah.
She just was enacting what would really happen if any of those traps in Home Alone actually happened.
Right. Candy Cane is still in the attic trying to get to Trudy when she steps in a giant puddle of sticky substance. Trudy launches something at Candy Cane, causing her to fall back and land into the sticky puddle. When Candy Cane comes back up, she rips her hair and some skin from the back of her head. Ugh. Candy Cane finally reaches Trudy and pulls a gun on her when Santa comes out and knocks her out with his hammer. Santa and Trudy finally meet in person and share a moment before Candy Cane gets back up. Santa finishes her off with his hammer once and for all.
Spoiler warning, skip ahead. Jason leads Gertrude, Scrooge, and some of the guards to where he hid the money. When they finally find it, Scrooge tells Krampus to kill the hostages in the living room, including Bert, Linda, and Alva. The three get into an argument, distracting Krampus before he can kill them. They then gang up on him and kill him instead. Santa and Trudy then walk into the living room to gather the family before going after Jason and Gertrude.
Santa passes Linda a gun. They begin to attack the intruders outside, near the hiding place for the money. Scrooge and Thorpe have already gotten most of the cash onto the snowmobiles and ride away with Gertrude as their hostage. Santa takes a makeshift sled and goes after them, while Jason and Linda share a romantic moment. It is quickly ruined by one of the intruders who is still alive and attack the couple. Santa uses his sled to slide down one of the slopes, landing on one of the guys on the snowmobile, replacing him and following Scrooge. Gertrude struggles to get away from Thorpe, who throws her into the snow and rides away.
Linda is being held in the air by her throat by the final intruder when she grabs an icicle and jabs it into his neck, killing him. Trudy comes outside to find her parents kissing and coming together again.
Aww.
Santa comes up on Scrooge, who is standing outside a shack in the woods, and crashes his snowmobile and goes flying through the wall. Scrooge shoots at the wall trying to kill Santa, but runs out of bullets. Scrooge finds Santa's naughty list and reads his own name on the list, finally realizing he was the real Santa Claus all along.
Trying to end Christmas forever, Scrooge is determined to kill Santa. During their fight, the snowmobile catches on fire and blows up the shack. Scrooge continues to go after Santa, stabbing him multiple times, until Santa uses his magic to send both of them up through a fireplace that's next to them. Santa turned to dust while going through. However, Scrooge stayed in his human body form and exploded trying to go through the chimney.
Fuck yeah.
It was crazy.
So gross.
It was. Like the blood
Just
was
a
spewing,
mist of
and it was just
blood.
like a carcass of nothing by the end of it.
He was just holding the torso by the
Yep.
time he got up there.
Thinking he won, Santa begins to laugh until he's shot down by Thorpe. Before he can shoot any more, Gertrude holds a gun up to Thorpe's head.
The rest of the family arrives and tries to help Santa, but his wounds are too great. Trying to keep him warm, Jason takes one of the money bags and sets it on fire, but it's not enough. Santa passes, and the family gathers around, saying that they all believe in him. Due to the Christmas magic and everyone believing in him, Santa wakes back up. They all share a moment until Santa's reindeer appear with his spare gift sack. While still looking in the sleigh, Santa finds a note from Mrs. Claus, along with his hammer, Skull Crusher. Santa and Trudy say their goodbyes, where Santa thanks her for reminding him that he still matters. Santa gets in his sleigh and rides off into the night to deliver the rest of his presents. The end. It was a good ass. I love this movie. It was really fun.
It's crazy that we're already like 36 minutes into filming.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, this was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. This is 100%. This is my Santa. I like this Santa. I like this version of Santa.
Yeah, Norwegian, Viking, badass.
I love the tattoos. I love that
David Harbour.
More and more people are doing this like buff, ripped Nordic Santa.
I love it.
Because it's accurate, you know? It's got a nice feel to it.
I wouldn't say it's accurate, and I have some lore.
Well, I mean,
into
not
that,
accurate
but
in regards to like the that bullshit. I'm saying accurate in the idea of like, I like the idea of like Santa being
because he's from
this
up
tough
north.
badass.
You think he would be very Viking-like.
All right, so this film was released December 2nd, 2022, so last year.
Mm-hmm.
Was directed by Tommy
Wirkola.
distributed by Universal Pictures. They had a budget of $20 million and a box office of $76.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
That shit popped off. It made bank.
That's not bad.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a runtime. It's pretty long. This one's a longer one, if you couldn't tell by how much we just read. But it's 112 minutes, so like almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
We got our main actors, David Harbour as Santa.
Santa.
My favorite. Alex Hassel as Jason Lightstone. Alexis Louder as Linda Lightstone. Leah Brady as Trudy Lightstone. And then John Leguizamo as Jimmy or Scrooge.
Yeah.
Mr. Scrooge.
Yeah.
Those were the main people I put because,
Yeah. That's the main important ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So if, we're talking about Santa lore already.
Yeah.
So the legend of Santa Claus goes back to like hundreds of years to a monk.
Mm.
It was a monk named Saint Nicholas.
Oh, well, yeah. I know about, St. Nicholas, yeah.
Apparently he was born like 280 AD. So like a little bit after death, you know, the AD. But he was born in Turkey, like modern day Turkey, like where that is.
Mm.
So basically he gave away all of his money and all of his wealth and just like traveled around the country and like helped like poor people and sick people. One of the best known stories about him apparently is this one time that he saved 3 sisters from being sold into slavery
Wow.
or prostitution by their own father and gave them a dowry so that they could all get married.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So there's many versions of
there's so many
Santa
versions.
Claus. Like that's just like the oldest version.
All over Europe. It's everywhere.
So there's a feast day, which is celebrated, like it's the anniversary of his death, which is December 6th. So, and most people find that to be like a very lucky day where people get married or have like special occasions or just, you know, make big financial decisions.
Yeah.
Because you can expect it to, you know, last longer or go through better or whatever. But there are so many versions of Santa Claus. So there's Sinterklaas, something like that. That's Dutch for Saint Nicholas. There's also obviously Santa Claus for America.
And that's a very specific version.
Yeah, there's Christkind or Christkringle from Switzerland or Germany. There's Scandinavia. There's a Jolly Elf called Jultomten, however you want to pronounce that. But he would deliver gifts in a sleigh, but it was drawn by goats. So not normal reindeer. It was drawn by goats.
I knew there was a version of Santa that had goats.
Yeah,
because
there's
reindeers are the more common one for most of the Santas.
I believe that.
I think so. Yeah.
For England, I think it's Father Christmas.
Yes.
So Father Christmas. And he would fill kids' stockings.
Yeah.
Then there's Pierre Noël, which is for French children. And he fills their shoes.
Yes.
Full of stuff.
Yes.
In Italy, it's actually a woman.
Yeah.
Called La Befana.
Yes.
And she's a witch who rides on a broomstick and then she goes down the chimneys of the homes to put, you know, toys in their stockings.
Funny enough, around this time period, you can go to Disney and meet all these different Santas.
Yeah. Because would that be Epcot? I'm guessing?
Epcot. Yeah, you go around the world and
we go to France and Italy.
Because I was like, once you started saying the names, I was like, wait a second.
Germany.
Oh, yeah. I recognize all of these names.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But, yeah. Santa Claus wasn't actually a thing that came to America until, like, the 1800s.
And even technically
Santa Claus himself. Yeah.
Our, like, modern version of Santa is because of Coca-Cola.
What? That's not what I have here.
Our modern interpretation, the visual of him.
That's not what I have here.
The modern visual of him is what I'm saying.
The modern visual is from a different thing. Yeah, that's what I have. Hold on, let me find it.
It's Coca-Cola, yeah. It's because of an ad for Coca-Cola.
It was based on an image drawn by this cartoonist, Thomas Nast, for Harper's Weekly in 1863. And he pulled a bunch of that from 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
But the Harper's Weekly was an ad.
Was it a Coca-Cola ad?
It was probably an ad.
I have no idea.
Because from what I know, that the commercial version of Santa that we have now is because of a Coca-Cola advertisement. Like a drawn advertisement. That's probably the artist who made it.
Probably. I mean, I would have to look at that. Hold on. Let's see. Thomas Nast.
I would love to confirm that just to see if he's the... I would look up his name and like Santa ad just to see what it is. Yep. Coca-Cola.
Okay. The history of Santa used by Coca-Cola advertising starting in the 1850s when Thomas Nast, a caricaturist of German descent, and he made 33 Santa Claus drawings. During the Civil War, one of his drawings from 1862 showed Santa as a peddler wearing the American flag colors.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But he's the artist who made the Coca-Cola Santa Claus ad.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying Coca-Cola is kind of where we got our commercial version of what Santa is, but it's because of him and his work that he made. Yeah.
Okay. So we had two different information,
but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just knew that he was the creator of the art in the ad, but didn't realize that the ad was for Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola basically helped to push the visual.
Yeah.
And that's the Santa America knows today.
Yeah. So that's basically the origins of Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have some like stuff about Christmas itself.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously,
it's Christmas.
There's Santa, which didn't come to America until like the 1800s.
Yeah.
But then there's Christmas, which has been around for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very long time.
Literally, Bibahebus.
Which honestly
isn't even.
It's not even.
Not even.
No, and I knew that, but
it's not the day.
I wanted to make sure, by putting it into
literally not even Christmas Day.
Obviously, Christmas is celebrated December 25th every year, and it's to celebrate the birth of Jesus, supposedly. Yeah. So obviously, in America, it's for Christians specifically. It became, birth of Jesus, which caused them to like exchange gifts, decorate Christmas trees, go to church, have big family meals and whatever, and obviously waiting for Santa. That's what it's become.
Because the reality of the situation is that a lot of Christian stuff is a combination of all different religions.
Yes.
And the process of decorating a tree is actually pagan.
Yeah. Well, Christmas wasn't actually stated as a federal holiday in the United States until 1870, but there were people who were celebrating it long before that. So many people celebrate winter itself, and that's where most of these things come from.
Like winter solstice stuff,
yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. So centuries before Jesus even got here,
before Jesus, motherfuckers.
So Europeans would celebrate light and birth during the darkest days of winter. Obviously, because that's just when it's a dark, cold time, you want to be happy. So, so that's where the winter solstice comes in, where they would celebrate the worst of the winter is like behind them. Like they have gotten through the worst of it.
They know that
so they can look forward to more hours of sunlight coming back,
the springtime,
birth, rejuvenation,
the land kind of revitalizing itself.
Yes. So there's lots of different things, lots of different people. So in Scandinavia, the Norse people would celebrate Yule, which is again the winter solstice.
Yes.
So it's the return of the longer days,
yes,
like more sunlight.
All my brain can think about is the Yule Lads, which is fucking wild.
What is that?
So the Yule Lads is, oh man, they make me giggle. There's like a whole group of like little like gnomishy elfy individuals that are referred to as the Yule Lads. I think there's like 12 of them or something.
Oh.
And each of them have different names, and each of them do different things.
Well, that makes sense, because I think Yule is like a 12-day thing usually.
You want to know some of the names?
Go ahead.
Door Slammer. Spoon Licker.
What?
Pot Scraper.
Nice. That's mine. That's me.
They're just fucking weird.
Wait, why? Who are these people?
I don't know why, but they like obviously like the actual real, like when you hear the Scandinavian name, it doesn't sound like that, but that's literally what it is. It translates to Spoon Licker, Pot Scraper, and Door Slammer.
I am Pot Scraper
because that's what they fucking do.
Which one would you be?
I don't know. I need the full list of the Yule Lads.
I'm a Pot Scraper.
I gotta get. Hold on.
Well, you look that up. I'm going to continue talking about Yule. So basically, Yule is where Scandinavian people would feast. They would eat a lot until this giant log burned out. And that's what would take like 12 days. And so most of these people believe that each spark would represent like a new animal that would be born during the next year. So I thought that was pretty cool.
All right.
Okay.
I have the list of the Yule lads.
All right, let's see. I might not be pot scraper when I hear the other ones.
Oh my God. These are amazing. So where I heard the Yule lads originally from is one of my favorite podcasts because it's got one of my favorite boys on there. It is the Chilluminati
I
podcast.
knew you were gonna say it. Jesse Cox.
Jesse, I love him. He's one of my favorite peoples, and they talk about the Yule lads and here the fuck they are and what they do.
Oh, okay.
We have Sheep Caught Claude. He tries to suckle ewes in farmers' sheep sheds. We have Gullygawk.
Gullygawk.
He steals foam from buckets of cow milk.
Foam? Okay.
Foam.
Okay.
Stubby. He's short and steals food from frying pans.
That's you. I'm kidding.
Motherfucker.
It's mainly the short part.
Hey. Spoon licker. He licks spoons. This is what he does, just like spoons.
So does everyone else when you eat.
Pot scraper, aka pot licker. He steals unwashed pots and licks them clean.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not me.
Bowl licker.
Uh-huh.
He steals bowls of food from under the bed. Back in the old days, Icelanders used it to sometimes store bowls of food there.
Mm-hmm.
Convenient for midnight snacks.
Mm-hmm.
We got door slammer. He stomps around and slams doors, keeping everyone awake. We got skier gobbler. He eats up all the Icelandic yogurt. So he's the yogurt gobbler because skier means yogurt, so he's a yogurt gobbler is what his name is. We got sausage swiper. He loves stolen sausages.
Mm-hmm.
We got
Careful, he'll steal your man.
We got window peeper.
Oh, that one sounds...
He likes to creep outside windows and sometimes steals the stuff he sees inside.
No, thank you.
We got door sniffer.
Sniffer.
He has a huge nose and is insatiable and an insatiable appetite for stolen baked goods. Meat hook.
Ooh.
He snatches up any meat left out, especially smoked lamb.
Mm.
And candle beggar. He steals candles, which used to be sought after items in Iceland.
What was the second one? I think that's me.
I want to be door sniffer.
You want to be door sniffer?
He has a huge nose and an insatiable appetite for stolen baked goods.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Because he's... Man. I mean, the yogurt one's not bad. All he does is just steal yogurt and eats yogurt.
I feel like baked goods is fitting, though.
You want to be Gullygawk? He steals foam from buckets of cow.
No, not that one, not that one, not that one. Let me see.
You like the second one.
Or
Give
is
me
it the third one? It's the third one.
Stubby?
No, it's the first one.
Sheep cut Claude? He tries to suckle you in farmers' sheep sheds?
That one.
That's the one you want to be?
I can't breathe. What's the fourth one?
That's spoon licker. He licks spoons.
Sure, yeah, I'll be the first one.
You're okay.
What's it called? We got door sniffer
Sheep caught Claude.
and sheep caught cloud. That is us.
Mm-hmm.
Door sniffer and sheep caught cloud. Wait, so who are these people and why do they exist?
Oh, fuck. I love this so much. They're so fucking funny.
My tummy hurts. I'm gonna have to poop.
Oh, holy shit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Oh my god. I love the Yule Lads. They're so fucking wild.
Who are they and why?
Let's see. They've got other things like Gryla, who comes down from the mountain on Christmas and boils naughty children alive.
What?
And there's a giant bloodthirsty black kitty called the Christmas cat that prowls around the country on Christmas Eve and eats anyone who's not wearing at least one new piece of clothing.
Oh.
So the Christmas cat will eat you if your parents don't buy you at least one new article of
How
clothing.
is that your fault?
Not your fault, but your ass gets caught.
If you have shitty parents, that's so tough.
Yes. But yeah, it's in Iceland, and they have 13 Father Christmases called the Yule Lads. These merry bunch of mischief fellows take turns visiting kids on the 13 nights leading up to Christmas. On each of those nights, children place one of their shoes on the windowsill. For good boys and girls, the Yule Lads will leave candy. If not, the Yule Lads are not subtle in expressing their disapproval.
Oh.
They fill the shoes with rotting potatoes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so essentially in Iceland, they've got the Yule Lads. That is their Father Christmas,
That's
essentially.
crazy. That's so funny.
And they're fucking wild. Sheepcock Claude.
Thank you. Door sniffer.
Yes.
That is how we will refer to each other only ever from now on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's how we will refer to each other on Christmas.
Yes.
I'll be like, "What's up, door sniffer?
What's up, Sheepcock Claude? What's up?
I'm suckling those teats."
And I'm eating them baked goods. Hell yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, okay.
Fuck, I'm crying. It's so funny. Holy shit.
Anyway, okay, back on track.
Hell yeah.
So, I have more. And it's more about like the Christian version of like Christmas and
Yes.
like how that's not really the case.
Yes.
So early on in Christianity, Easter was like the main holiday. Like
Yes.
he is risen, all of that.
He has ariseth.
So his birth, nobody cared.
Nobody gave a shit.
That
You were
wasn't-
born? Great.
Yeah, that wasn't the part that was celebrated. But in the 4th century, some popes got together, some church officials, decided that they would make the birth of Jesus a holiday. But the Bible doesn't say.
Tell you when the fuck that happened.
Yeah, the Bible doesn't say his birthday. So the Bible doesn't say his birthday, and it's actually like there's a lot of evidence that points out that he might have been born like in the springtime. So not
Yep.
even like in December at all. So
Swear to
but
God.
basically, Pope Julius the First just declared
Yep.
December 25th. Like, and I'm guessing that has to do with because of everyone celebrating winter solstice, and it was just like a time of
Yeah.
bringing light into a dark time, and like
Yes.
that's what people see Jesus as. Like they see him as like this figure that brings light in the darkness. So that's what
Yes.
that's my theory.
That's the assumption on that one.
Yeah, like they basically chose that date in order to use pagan traditions
Yep.
and their festival.
Which is real hypocritical.
Yeah.
Since they're like, fuck pagans. But here, let me co-opt your processes.
Basically, they set it as the time for winter solstice because these church leaders thought that it would increase the popularity of
Christianity.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
So that's basically what it is.
Not surprised.
So by the Middle Ages, Christianity like basically replaced pagan religion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have some Christmas facts. Some cute little Christmas facts. And then
Go for it.
and then we can talk about all of the cool effects and things.
Hell yeah.
Every year, about 30 million like real life Christmas trees are sold in the United States alone.
Yes. I am
It's crazy.
not shocked.
There are 15,000 tree farms in the U.S. And they grow from anywhere between 4 to 15 years before they're actually sold.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
And that's like the real deal trees. That's like the
Yeah.
legit stuff.
Yeah. Not these fake things.
Not these fake ass plastic ones.
Which I bet these, these farms are sitting there like, gosh darn it.
God
These
damn.
fake trees stealing our business.
Honestly.
Which I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, like, I don't want to chop down trees. Like,
And I also don't need like a living tree that's just going to constantly be dropping that shit.
and like
All time.
our cats are going to be all up in that. No, thank you.
No thanks.
So what I thought was funny was that in the Middle Ages, Christmas celebrations were like today's Mardi Gras.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They had like crazy celebrations like that. So that was pretty cool. Another thing I found was that in America from 1659 to 1681, Christmas was outlawed in Boston. And if you celebrated Christmas, you were fined 5 shillings.
What?
Yes. So what happened basically is that when the Puritans sailed from England in the 1600s and founded, Massachusetts or whatever.
Yeah.
So when they came over, they were not happy about Christmas, which is interesting. So on Christmas Day, these people would keep their shops and schools open, and they would close the churches on Christmas.
Ah.
And then they called the holiday Fool's Tide.
Damn.
So here's what it says on the History Channel website. It says, after the Puritans in England overthrew King Charles the First in the 1600s,
Mm-hmm.
they said one of their first items of business after chopping off the monarch's head was to ban Christmas. Parliament decreed that December 25th should instead be a day of fasting and humiliation for Englishmen to account for their sins.
Damn.
So that's why it was like banned for a little bit.
Yeah.
For over 20 years.
Wow.
It was banned, which is crazy.
That's a long ass time.
Mm-hmm. The first eggnog ever made in the U.S. was consumed in Captain John Smith's 1607 Jamestown settlement.
Oh.
At least in the United States. I don't know how long eggnog has been around.
Yeah.
And the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree tradition was started in 1931 by construction workers,
Oh, wow.
which I thought was pretty cute. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I got on the lore. It's lots of stuff. It's lots and lots of things.
Alrighty. So this film was actually shot in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Manitoba.
Mm-hmm. During a cold ass winter.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. The movie
I
combines
forgot we were talking about Violent Night. We were just in the lore of Christmas and Santa.
into Santa.
Yeah.
Because usually you get a little bit of this before that point, but we just went straight into the lore.
Because we were already kind of talking about it, so I just kind of dove in.
So the movie combines practical location sets, stunt work, special effects, and an all-star ensemble cast. And obviously it's a lot of fun, and it looks really expensive.
Yeah.
More than it actually was. Like it seems like it would be more expensive than it actually was.
Well, it all took place in like one setting, so.
And it was kind of funny because it was in the literal dead of winter. So the temperatures ranged mostly from negative 15 degrees Celsius to negative 40 degrees Celsius. So it was cold as
Wow.
ass out there.
No,
For
thank
real.
you. After every take, I would literally be like piling on the blankets.
Well, yeah, because they had like, those like hand warming things.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had the actors wearing like those vests underneath their clothes that like would heat.
It's a good thing not a whole lot of the movie takes place outside. I mean, a good chunk of it kind of does.
It does. A good chunk of it does take on outside.
Okay.
And a lot of filming happened outside.
Okay.
So the Winnipeg costume designer Laura DeLuca was among the creative minds that helped bring Harbour's unorthodox version of Santa Claus to life.
I loved it so much.
Because his jacket is actually made of leather.
Yeah. Badass.
Because you'd never think that Santa's coat would be made of leather. Usually
Even though that
it's-
makes sense because it's so much warmer.
Exactly.
Like, that's really warm.
And you're so used to seeing that like fabric-y
Yeah.
material, that really
Like,
soft,
no
like
way
velvety.
is that keeping him,
Yeah. Because she sourced
insulated.
several elements, including the fabric, fur, and leather from local makers from the Winnipeg area. She wanted to give the opportunity to local people to showcase their work and artistry. And it paid off really well because that is a beautiful Santa costume. So while Winnipeg itself has gained a reputation as a helpful host to offshore like filmmakers and stuff like that, the city's climate made the shoot especially difficult given record-breaking snowfall and the really bad temperatures. It was cold enough that the outdoor shoot scheduled for January had to be moved to March. It was that bad.
Wow.
It was that cold. Oh, yeah.
That's insanity.
And it's, and in general, this movie is like it's a really nice change of pace for a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
I'll
agree to that.
You always get like, obviously you have your romantic Christmas films and all that kind of stuff, but like,
or you're just like sweet children's Christmas film.
Exactly, because it's like the way that they wanted it to feel like a Christmas movie despite all the craziness and violence. And I feel like it was successful in that. It still felt like a Christmas movie.
Yeah, because it was still Santa. And he was in a lot of it, and like they were all celebrating Christmas. So.
And it didn't feel like it was like it didn't feel like they were making a violent film themed Christmas. It was like a Christmas movie that also had violence. Like it didn't feel like one overshadowed the other.
I felt like it was very equal. I wouldn't say, yes, this is a Christmas movie that also had violence. I think it's
a violent Christmas movie.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like one thing was more important than the other happening.
Yeah.
So it felt really nicely balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And even Wirkola acknowledged his own idea of a Christmas movie, including a bruising slapstick of Home Alone and the inevitable references like the seasonal action film Die Hard.
Yeah.
Because goddamn, for some reason there are certain films that people are like, it's a Christmas movie. It's not a Christmas movie. Everybody says Die Hard is a Christmas movie because it takes place during Christmas.
I've never heard of that ever.
It's a Christmas movie.
Well, I've never seen that movie though, so.
Which is fucking shocking. I can't believe that just came out of your mouth. Jesus Christ.
I'm just a baby.
Girl, you are not baby enough to have not, like, how? Anyway.
Well, I'm busy enough to have not seen many things, so.
Just put that shit on in the background at least.
I can't do that. When I watch a movie, I'm sitting down and I'm watching the movie. Unless I start not to enjoy the movie as much, and then I'm doing something else. Anyway.
So, what's really cool is that David Harbour was one of the first people they thought about for Santa.
As they should. And that should have been the only person.
Because that's the point is that, like, when they were first meeting and brought him in, they were like, he's perfect. Mm-hmm. And what was even better is that when he read the script, he got the humor that they were trying to do. Like, he understood what was going on. And sometimes that can be pretty hard to deal with. I would
watch this over and over again just for David Harbour.
I would watch this like every Christmas.
It's
like I would say this is a staple Christmas film.
He's an incredible Santa.
It's so touching, the relationship between him and Trudy.
Oh, he's just really good with kids.
I know.
He's just so good with kids.
I feel like he would give the best hugs.
He would.
I want to meet him so bad just to get a hug from him.
I
just want a hug. He's got that. He has that like dad. He feels like that dad vibe.
Yeah, like he reminds me of my dad.
Yeah,
if my dad were like
he reminds me
of a little more. ¿Cómo se dice?
Buffer and taller.
Yes. Just also
because he got ripped for this film.
Yeah, he also got ripped for the end of Stranger. Like
yes,
the last
he did.
Season of Stranger Things. Like, okay, but yeah, he's like a dad figure.
Yeah.
If my dad were just had like a little bit more of an edge to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I was a little more outgoing, just a little bit. My dad, he's kind of reserved, but I love him.
And your dad's more hippie.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Harper is more of like, he would have been more of like more punk, if anything.
Yeah.
He's a little like,
my dad's got a bit of a rock side, but it's not.
His hippie is so much stronger.
Yeah, his hippie
is so much stronger.
Yeah.
We love you, but you're a hippie. And I know you're okay with that.
No, he's so okay with that. He's got a little rock and roll to him, obviously, but he's mostly hippie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Peace and love.
Hell yeah. Wirkola actually is from Alta, Norway.
Oh, okay.
So for him, the brutal like climate that Winnipeg was going on.
He was just used to it.
Yeah. He did find it challenging, especially since the production required some 3 weeks of exterior shoots.
Wow.
Like, he's like, where I'm from is above the Arctic Circle. The temperatures are about the same in the winter. But Winnipeg has that annoying wind, which makes it so much colder. And that's what was making it tough because it's the wind.
Wind makes things
horrible.
Awful.
When it's cool in Florida, it's great. But if it's windy, and cold.
No.
It's a fucking nightmare. And I understand that some people are like, but that's Florida. It ain't getting as cold as up north. Well, here's the difference. Up north, it is dry cold.
Ooh, we get wet.
We get wet
moist,
cold.
humid cold.
Which means it goes into your bones.
Like every day, like since it's been cold, I go home and I take a bath. Like I take a hot bath.
Yeah. I mean, and the problem is like, and then you throw the wind in there and it's just an effing nightmare.
I just sit in the bathtub like full hot water.
Yeah.
Ugh. Just so my bones can warm up again.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Oh, yeah. Because it's like, because of that cold weather, like the crew was grumpy. The actors were grumpy.
Yeah.
Because it's a hard place to spend hours outside shooting.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody in that film besides maybe Jason, Linda, Trudy, and Santa were mean. So
yeah,
it worked out.
Yeah. And I mean, because it's real snow and a real crunch under their feet, and you can see the people's breath, and you can't get that in a studio.
No.
Not on the same level. Because he was like, I like being on real locations, being up there and feeling it himself. Because as a director, he gets a little bit of a kick out of when people are miserable. And he said,
what?
I get an energy out of it. I try to get people to take that uncomfortable feeling and use it.
That's fair.
We had a great time there, and the crews were fantastic.
That's good.
Because they're kind of, he's like, I like it when they're miserable, but it's because I want them to use that push. I want them to have that kind of mentality.
So you want them to
emote through their feelings.
It's method acting.
Yes. And another cool thing is that a lot of their bad guys were actually stunt performers. And that ended up being great because for the kind of movie in general, it made for not costing as much because they didn't have to
swap out people.
Exactly.
For, stunts.
Because that would double the amount of people that they had to have.
Yeah, that's pretty cost efficient.
And like when you wanted Candy Cane, played by Mitra Suri, to get hers in the segment that homages Home Alone.
Oh, when she like bends backwards, like into the sticky goo.
Exactly. That's hard to do and hard to find. And they found the perfect kind of stunt performers to play those roles. It really worked out for them that they were able to get those kinds of people.
Yeah.
And what was really cool is that, so the house itself that they used.
Oh, the mansion, Gertrude's mansion.
Was built entirely.
Okay.
None of the house was actually practical, which was phenomenal because they could control it and they could mess it up.
Oh, yeah.
They could shoot, go back, and get pickups and stuff like that when they needed to. And the vault is a set that they made as well. And then all of the exteriors were shot in a month's worth of nights, basically, in the Winnipeg cold. And,
Yeah, that must have been
sucks.
Like, because it's all at nighttime.
Oh, yeah.
So, you're probably getting there at like.
So it's colder and it's colder at night.
3, and you're probably not like 3 p.m. just for hair, makeup, getting ready.
Exactly.
Maybe even earlier than that.
And it's got to be dark outside.
Yeah,
it can't be
so
like you can't see sunlight at all.
So you can't start filming until like sundown.
Because the majority of the film, like the beginning of the film is during the day and then it transitions into night. And
like, almost immediately.
Immediately. Yeah.
So.
And then.
And you're probably there until sunrise.
Yeah, exactly.
Just so you can get everything shot.
Exactly. And they believe that the effects work best for them. There's as much practical as possible. So another film that wanted to use a lot of practical effects.
Unless you're stabbing a star into an eyeball and setting it on fire.
Yes. But they also had real reindeer.
Oh.
So
That's funny later for my 1-star reviews. Okay.
Yeah. They sent a little unit to go shoot real reindeer. And the reindeer performed beautifully that day. So there was this blue screen and then these reindeer doing different moments for them. And so they only had to build some of the backs or recreate what they already had to make it feel as natural as possible. But they wanted to keep their heads as real as possible. So they used real reindeer to help like build that up. And then because it required some unusual VFX, including a digital double Santa. They had a CG sleigh and reindeer, the magic travel through the fireplace, the Christmas weapon extensions, the snow augmented environments, and an AR like naughty and nice list.
Yeah, that was cool.
So they wanted, obviously, because it's a Christmas film, you want the colors to pop, be bright, red, white, magical. Same with the set design. There's a lot of warmth on the set coming from the fireplaces, lights, and interior design to make you feel cozy and embrace that like Christmas, that classic Christmas ambiance.
Yep.
And then Mercola and co-producer Leach also wanted the fights to have some Christmas spirit, because all of Santa's weapons involved Christmas ornaments, candy canes, Christmas stars, and Santa's sack.
Yep. And his hammer.
And then what's really cool is that that sparkle CGI magic dust had to be created for Santa's fireplace entrances and exits. And basically on set, they made sure that they scanned every single room in the mansion, as there were several chimneys that Santa was escaping from. And their on-set supervisor, Adam Wagner, did a fantastic job doing photogrammetry that helped them with tracking and proper practical interactions. And they used Industrial Pixels. Industrial Pixels was responsible for Santa's scans that were used to create the Santa DigiDouble, which was used to emit the particles and integrate with the regular plate Santa. All the simulations were done in Houdini and composed in Nuke with the help of Point Render and Nuke Particles by their amazing team led by Mark Dirksen, composition supervisor. So that's a lot of technical talk.
That is a lot of technical.
A lot of technical talk. But basically what they did is that, so they would scan a room and they would be able to make it so that the versions of Santa would like cohesively go through the different fireplaces, and all the different effects would feel seamless. Because even when talking about going back to like the reindeer and the practicality and the CG of it, that actually posed a lot of issues. After the first meeting with the pre-production team, the director and producer reviewed the script and storyboards, and they tried to figure out the logistics and the most cost-effective yet visually good-looking approach. There was a lot of brainstorming involving several shots with reindeer, with different levels of complexity. From the beginning, they knew that they needed 2 or 3 real reindeer. And obviously, time was pressuring, because little did they know that reindeer were going to lose their antlers in February.
Whoa.
Because their antlers fall off.
Yeah.
They shake them off.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I forget about this all the
And
time.
they needed reindeers that had antlers. So they had to schedule them as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Since their main unit was shooting in Winnipeg, the only place in Canada to accommodate their request was Calgary. So they had to have their second group in Calgary, led by Wagner, who was responsible for shooting all the reindeer elements, reference photos and videos, textures, HDRI, and light studies for all the shots that they broke down in the storyboard. So they had to do so much to make sure that they got that shit done.
This sounds crazy. This sounds like a lot of...
They used a lot of practical, but they used CGI for what it's supposed to.
Yeah.
To help elevate.
Yeah. And it seemed like that. Like, I got that.
Oh, yeah. Because they also did a lot of barn and mansion extensions, because most of the wintry landscape was scouted and on set. As nature intended, there were some no snowfall days during the shoot period.
Oh.
And some days had a fair amount of snowfall. And they had to add in falling snow in a number of the shots at the end of the sequence to maintain
So
their
that
continuity.
It matches, yeah.
Yeah, because the cold weather was a factor, and because they were having, so here's something that most people don't realize. They were having problems because their iPads and cameras were dying because of the weather. The tracking markers were not sticking to the blue screen. Our feet were turning into icicles. It was a struggle. So a lot of...
How does weather affect electronics?
The cold weather can shut electronics down. I've actually experienced this firsthand. So I was in one of my semesters of when I was doing my AS degree, we went to the beach the Daytona Beach, and it was really fucking cold out. It was like during that fall semester, and it was really, really cold out. And so, but with the addition of the air coming from the sea and everything, it was so cold that if I started to walk towards the like water and have my camera facing that direction, the cold wind was so strong that it was making my camera freeze.
Oh.
And I had to shut it off so that it would not.
Well, that's a problem.
Because that's just, it's crazy that kind of shit happens, but it's like, it's real. Like, those kinds of temperatures really kind of fuck with electronics.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a lot of the fight sequences inside the barn, which had a lot of the
There was so
CG
much
blood.
That was like that was probably the most gruesome.
Most gory scene.
Yeah, that's because that's when he finds the hammer, puts his hair up, and
Hell
goes ham.
So a lot of it was CG blood, CG blades for the snowblower as one of the mercenaries gets pulled in, and there are a couple of shots with a CG icicle during the scene where Linda is fighting off the mercenary.
Yeah.
And then
they did a really good job with that, because you can see it go in, and then you can see it go in a little more, and it's like, it looks like she's like struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Like as if it were like real.
There's resistance.
Yeah.
Like that was a really nice.
I was sitting there like, oh my God.
And it's because the team wanted to shoot as much as possible in camera. So the special effects team was responsible for flipping the snowmobile. Mm-hmm. And the crafty team was in charge of the CG Santa that flew across in that end scene. Yeah. Because
when he knocks that one guy off the snowmobile.
When Santa gets launched.
Yeah. When he like goes down the sled and then
and he crashes the
snowmobile into the tree stump and then goes through the okay.
So the team was responsible for actually flipping the real snowmobile, but then the crafty team was in charge of making the CG Santa that flew across.
Yeah.
And the set extensions to the cabin, ruins, and snow enhancements.
Yeah.
So they used, again, industrial pixels to scan in David Harbour and the snowmobile. They provided them with textures and reference images, and then their CG team was responsible for building a Santa digidouble that was used in several shots. They used object tracking for the snowmobile and passed that to their animation team, and it turned out amazing. And then for Santa's Naughty and Nice list, it basically looked like a high-tech ancient scroll.
It did. That was really cool.
It was a really freaking cool ass prop because the production aimed to create something simple looking and then aesthetically pleasing that incorporated Santa's ancient Viking roots.
Which it definitely did.
And then they developed several concepts to help establish the look with their talented DMP artist Katrina Chiu and Ivo Horvat before they started doing the FX work, which was done with Houdini. Tommy was going for the magical, warm, organic, see-through look that would tie seamlessly into the plot and other visual effects of the movie. And they introduced runes, old-style calligraphy lettering, and lots of magical particles to bring the scroll to life. And that was such a cool piece to have. I like the idea that Santa's Naughty Nice list is not like actual paper, but this like magical scroll that just kind of materializes with names.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah.
Like, it wasn't basic. Like, it wasn't something you've ever really seen before.
Yeah, because you see way too often it's a scroll that like rolls out to like an infinitively long
like magical
paper.
Like lettering on there that looks like it's been inked in, and
whereas this feels different, and I like it.
High tech kind of.
Yeah.
But also
magical.
Ancient and magical.
Yeah. So I'm good with that. So you got me some 1-star reviews?
Well, first I have this little Easter egg that I want to talk about.
Ooh.
Have you ever seen A Christmas Story?
I think so.
Well, I just recently watched it for the first time, so this little tidbit was a little interesting. So Ralphie and his friends, Ralphie's the main character, are bullied by these two guys called Grover Dill and Scut Farkus. Yeah.
Dumbest name.
But basically in Violent Night, like in Violent Night for the catering van.
Yeah.
On the catering van, their names are on the side of it.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's pretty
cool. little Easter egg there
And
for
then
you.
obviously all the references to Die Hard and Home Alone, and
Yeah.
there's even a reference to like Elf a little bit with like Christmas magic and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
But that leads me to my 1-star reviews.
Hell yeah, go for it.
It says, do yourself a favor and go watch A Christmas Story. This movie wanted to be funny and it wasn't. It wanted to have a backstory, however it didn't. I'm so tired of wasting my money on these pathetic attempts at movie making. Do better, writers and directors, because you cannot continue to release these horrible movies that it's utter garbage. I'm not a writer, however, I could have written a better movie. Good, I'd like to see you try.
I would like to see you try. This was a great movie.
Like, I'm going to be so honest. She said, do yourself a favor and go watch A Christmas Story. No, I don't really like that movie. It was not really great. I just said I watched it for the first time not that long ago. It was
Yeah.
like a week ago when I watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she would ever say that. Sorry, no. Next person said, I walked out 7 times and I only stayed because I didn't want to waste my $12. I would only watch if I was blackout drunk and chained to a chair. I would not even watch this movie for $100. Stay away.
What the fuck?
That was so confusing. Like, I feel like,
Why would you even write a review
right?
at that point?
I feel like this person has something a little deeper going on. Why would you walk out of a movie 7 times to turn around and come back?
And just stay.
And stay.
What the fuck?
Go home. $12.
Just go
and
the F home.
$12 is not really that much.
Yeah.
It's not that much. It can't be breaking.
Fucker, just
your
go
bank.
home. If you've walked out 7 times,
7
just
times.
effing leave. You're
Right.
just annoying everyone else at that point.
Yup. And this is the next one is why I thought the reindeer thing was really funny. I think the best actors were the reindeer. They portrayed their roles with passion and professionalism. Thanks for another movie that looked so promising and delivered nothing. Always hoping for that next great Christmas movie that you want to watch every year. I guess I'll still be waiting.
Oh, you mean this one? Oh, you mean this one
Right.
that I would 100% watch every fucking Christmas
No, yeah. Yes.
because it's a good ass Christmas movie.
What I want to know is, this person said always hoping for that next great Christmas movie that you can watch every year. Do you not have one that you can watch every year? Like there are so many. You're still waiting?
There's so many fucking Christmas movies. How the fuck have you not found one to watch every year?
Yeah.
Why do you have to have like a lineup of Christmas movies? Are you wanting like a list of Christmas movies that you can watch every year? Just fucking, if you have one, just keep repeat watching that one. If you
Right.
like it so much,
Right.
just fucking keep watching that one.
And the last one. Santa saves a wealthy family from mercenaries, but does he help the poor and downtrodden? LOL, no. Another rich yuppie Christmas for wannabe rich yuppies to watch and drool over. 'Tis a crappy season. The guy from Stranger Things is good. I mean, he def can hold his own without a bunch of kids grabbing at his skirt like in that other show. But the direction is lacking. The script is muddled and and in dire need of a rewrite. And it never really does much but aim for the low-hanging fruit.
Ugh. Huge ugh. I don't like you. And how rude you were about Stranger Things.
Like,
fuck you for that.
they say the guy from Stranger Things, and then they say that other show. As
like
if
you just
didn't
did. You
say,
just fucking mentioned the show. Why would you effing
I don't
idiot?
know. I don't know.
But it's also one of those things where like, who gives a shit? Like, oh my god.
I was not thinking about how these people were rich ever. Like,
No.
that wasn't. I didn't care.
them being
I don't
rich
care.
was just like a B or C plot,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
right.
Like I couldn't
Because
give
it's
a
also
shit.
like clearly Trudy didn't really grow up like
yeah,
her dad did.
she wasn't like the fucking other family
No, like
who
I think
paid
they
off
tried
a school
for his
for
sexual assault.
charges.
Crazy, but I think that Jason and Linda really tried to like protect Trudy from
Yeah.
that kind of world.
She was a good kid.
She was a good kid.
like
she was
an actual real good kid.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, I guess I understand the part of like, but does Santa help the poor people? No.
He literally has a bag that it doesn't matter whether the kid is poor or not.
That's fair.
They get gifts.
Yeah.
If they're on the fucking good list, then they
Like
get
there
gifts.
are so many Christmas movies about being not wealthy.
Yes.
So this wasn't the first thing that came. Like, I wasn't thinking about how rich they were when I was watching this movie. I was thinking about David Harbour as Nordic Santa.
Like you want to bitch and complain that it focused on a rich family when every other fucking Christmas movie is referencing a middle class
Yeah,
to middle upper class family.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to sit here and act like that. Like, what's the difference at that point? Like, 90% of Christmas movies don't ever focus on the poor.
Correct.
So you have nothing to stand on unless you can, like, yeah, there's old classics, but not all of them are focused on the poor because that's just what it is, man.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that.
I don't know.
But yeah.
That's all I got.
So our next film is Gremlins.
Gizmo. I remember watching that movie as a child and just like really loving it.
He's so
and then
fucking
I never
cute.
watched it again.
I know, same.
Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah. So like us, share us, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the things. Send us an email at horrorunmasked@gmail.com. Follow us at Instagram and Twitter at Horror Unmasked. Listen to us on Spotify and iTunes at Horror Unmasked Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Horror Unmasked Podcast. And I think with that,
There's only one thing left to ask. Will you fear?
or will you fear not?